I think it's important to think about our own history and think about certain colonial institutions. Unfortunately, oftentimes colonial court systems don't rule in favor of indigenous peoples. We see that here stateside. We saw that recently with the unfortunate decision in Iqua in Texas. We're seeing that again and again. But the violence against indigenous women and indigenous peoples, both on this side of the lake as well as on the other side of the medicine line, is quite real. These are images that I made when the Canadian court system ruled against Tina Fontaine's murder. Tina was an Anishinaabe, an Ojibwe woman from Winnipeg, whose body was found in the river. The individual who had admitted to her killing was found not guilty by the settler colonial juridical system. And so, in the moments in responding to these issues, I often make images and circulate them via social media, free of charge, and enter into conversations that way. So this is an image I made about Tina, and similarly, also on the other side of the medicine line, Colton Bushy was a Cree guy whose car broke down when he was with some family and friends, went to a farmer's property to ask for help, and the farmer shot him in the back of the head. The farmer was found not guilty, and of course, it's part of a larger institutional problem. I think it's important in the same way of introducing myself and acknowledging the land to also name and to recognize some of these systems and some of these processes that are put in place around us and that we're all interacting with. This, of course, is the state of Michigan, with the 8 primary treaties signed between 1807 and 1842. As you know, we're here at the base of the Keweenaw in Treaty of La Pointe territory. So as a Métis guy, my family were not signatories to any of these treaties, but rather following the War of 1812, we're living on Drummond Island. I'll go to there. We're living on Drummond Island here, and because Anishinaabe and Métis folks fought with the English against the Americans, you can see here, this is the Lake Huron borderlands. You can see the Sioux at the top, the very east point of the Upper Peninsula there. This would be Detour Village right here. But you can see the way that the border jumps around Drummond Island here, and in many ways this is a form of punishment for both the British who had a fort there, but also for indigenous peoples, including my family who fought against the Americans when that kind of in the War of 1812. So Métis folks who were living there migrated across Lake Huron and into the Georgian Bay, into a community called Penetanguishene, which, as I understand it in Anishinaabe, means the place where the sands change shape. Anyway, this is my grandfather's grandmother here. This is an octopus bag she made. Much of my work as an artist thinks about connecting historically and ancestrally to this place and to family as well. As Métis folks, were well known for making these kinds of bags. Ojibwe folks often have and wear bandolier bags. As Métis, we often and continue to make this, which is called an octopus bag. Clearly, we don't have interactions with octopi in this part of the world, but they're called octopus bags, of course, because you have the forward kind of dangling parts, which look to some extent like tentacles, and there's 4 on each side, making 8 of them.